Hello everyone, Miss AG here, and I'm going through my entire digital illustration technique real quick in these videos. And in the last one we did base color, which you can see here is all filled out nice. And now we're going to be going on and doing the shading. And for this one I'm going to go back to the pen tool, so if you learned the pen tool it'll be great. If not, I'll still kind of go through, like, why I do what I do with the pen tool, and maybe that'll help you guys work out your own style and stuff. So let's just go ahead and jump in. I'm gonna go up to my line art. Oh, actually first, so I have this color layer, but I actually want to do my shading on a separate layer. It just makes it easier later if you need to adjust, like, color ranges or hues or whatever. So we're gonna go ahead and double click this and rename it like base or something. And then we're going to create a new layer, which is this button down here, the layer option up here, or just Command Shift in, or the Windows equivalent, and you can just name it. You have to name it if you did the action thing with me last video. I'm going to rename it color exactly like I did the last time. So we'll select this layer. I'll show you just real quick. So I have this here. I want this stuff here, and I select this layer. And we do this so that we don't have like a weird little white edge sometimes you get between the color and the line. It's just something I went through in the last video. Okay, so let's go through. I'm going to go back to the pen tool, which means I'll be using my mouse again instead of my tablet. I'm basically going to select with the pen tool the shade areas. So for this one, for instance, I have a path here for my line art, but that's saved separate. So I'm not going to bother to save these paths that I do here, because I'll just be selecting shading ranges real quick. But let's go ahead and do for the hair. I'm just going to put an anchor point down, click down here, it's a new one. As long as you click just with the pen tool, that's what you get. But if you want to disconnect, you just hold down the command key and click real quick. And if you want to move these, you add in little plus sign, you add a little point there, and you can drag it. And I kind of went through this more. I might go through how to do an in-depth tutorial about how to use the pen tool, but for now we're just gonna kind of select this stuff. And if you need a recap, you can go to the line art layer, or the line art video, I mean, or hopefully you can find what you need. So we're just gonna select, and it's kind of weird. You have to think like ahead of time, like what it's gonna look like colored. This might take some getting used to, like thinking, but see, this is gonna be all colored in the hair. So we're just selecting this real quick and up like that, and we can bring it down and have like some area here for her hair. Okay, and then shoop, shoop, shoop. We'll do the same here. Whoops, where we have the go like that and that. And so now we have like a selection of where the shadow is going to be. Maybe like that. Why not? Okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. So now I'm going to go to my line art, select the hair area, hit this, I'm still on the color action, hit the play button, and it's going to take me right to color. And you see it's not on this layer anymore because it's been renamed. And what happens, I'll show you what happens real quick. If you don't have color and you hit this, it comes up with the object layer color is not currently available. So you can stop or continue. So that's just what happens if you don't have that. So now you know. That's why you have to name them exactly the same. Okay, so we have this selected. We're gonna choose a color. I'm gonna go through in depth, but I'll just show you real quick what it is we're doing. We're basically shading it in like that. So and how I'm doing this, I'll go a little bit slower. I'm gonna select some colors here. I hit the I for eyedropper, and then I just click on it and I hit X. So now that I have both these colors, and I just can kind of make sure I have one color I use for like a weird shade in a way, like it's not exactly the shade color. Like for instance, I made that one really red, and the other shade is for the dark shade. And so let's take that first one, and what I do for my technique is I right click and I go to fill path, and you can feather the radius. Since this is a big file, I'm going to feather it like huge, 50. And you can see, I'll remove this just real quick. You see it's real fuzzy, right? So let's go back and make sure I have that. So now I'm going to hit just hit X on the keyboard. Make sure I still have my pen tool. Right click again. Instead of 50 this time, you do 4, let's say. And what this does, that's a little bit too dark a color, which is no big deal because we have history. So go back, make it not so dark, fill path. There, that's better. Except I don't like it, so I'm hitting Command Z. I'm going to fill path. Instead of 4, we're going to do 7. So it's just not quite so hard. Okay, yeah, that's good. And see, you have like that original fuzzy color kind of blends into this. It's just a little stylistic thing I like to do, but you could choose to do however you want. So there you go. You have that shaded, and you, okay, now I want to warn you, you have your path still, but the minute you make a new path, it's going to disappear. Oops. Just the one little anchor point, and it's gone now. So if you're really worried, you can just save your paths. I think I did in the beginning, but I've gotten to the point where I don't care that much anymore. That's the start of the shading. If you want, you can go in and add some, like, you know, more hairlines depending on what style of shading you like. So let's do a couple here just to show you what I mean. And there we go. And then you can go back and do this, same thing you did before, where you fill path 50, hit X to select the other one, fill path 7. And you could make this an action if you wanted, if you really knew what you were doing. Kind of depends. And there you go. And you can even, you know, if you want to put some highlights in, you can do the same deal. Or you just make some paths here. I'm not going to go too crazy with this because I'm just going to keep moving on to show you the techniques, really. So say we, you know, select kind of a light thing, fill path, I don't know, 15. There we go. You could work on that. And there's also, just real quick, the dodge tool, which is like a whole other tutorial sometime, but I have mine. Highlights, exposure 5%, here it is, and then you bump this up to, you know, a big brush, and then you can, and then you just go, not over the color, sorry, on the base layer, since that's where all the ink essentially is. And then that's kind of like, you'd probably see that people do this kind of stuff. Doesn't matter. Okay, moving on. We'll do the same thing we did, where I'm going to select the color area where her skin needs to be colored, and you know, hit that. Go back up to the beginning here. Hit this color action. Okay. And we're gonna once again just put in where we think the shading is gonna go with the pen tool, and go around her hair. There's gonna be a shade underneath here. Around her eyes here, with the, you know, creases of the eyes where there'll be a shadow. Let's see, her nose, the little shadow area here. I'm just doing this real quick so you don't have to sit here and watch me do it for agonize for hours where I should put the shadows or anything. Not that I do that very often anymore. I used to. I've learned that, you know, you can't always be happy and you can't always be perfect. So sometimes it's better to just work and kind of accept what you do and look and see how you can improve next time, rather than just get really frustrated and give up because it's not coming out how you want it to. So we'll have a little shadow under the bottom lip. We can have a little shadow in the crease of the mouth here. I'm just going to make a real small one, but because of the feather technique, it will shadow a little bit more than you expect. Okay, I guess we've kind of made the light source come more or less from the top, so we'll just, usually I would do it like one side or the other, but we'll just do like kind of a bottom of the chin thing. Okay, and we'll do that here. If you need help on the pen tool, I'm sure there's a ton of tutorials out there on YouTube. Like I said, I hope to make one in the near future if people are interested. If nobody cares, maybe I won't bother. Maybe I have a terrible pen technique. It's been so long since I've looked at what other people are doing with the pen tool, so. Okay, we'll select these areas here. I don't know, for shadow. This is, let's go ahead and pretend like there's more light coming from this way. Just so we can color this neck a little bit more interestingly, if that's a word. Okay, and since we did that, we'll shorten the shadow here a bit. Move this over like that. Okay, this looks good. I'm going to, real quick, I'm going to cheat a bit. Go to this base color and unselect the white, so I won't have to go back and retouch that later. Go back up to the color. Okay, selecting my pen tool again. I'm going to hit, actually I'm going to hit eyedropper tool, I, and I'm just going to select the color, first color, foreground color, hit X, select the color again, and this just is something I do so I can kind of see what shading options I have here, what I'm doing. So the first one's going to be kind of the weird one, the medium grade one that's kind of orangish, and the second one is going to be like the dark shade, and like that, and you can kind of see how they're going to look here. So going back to that lighter color one, we're going to select the pen tool. We're going to fill path at 50. That'll make that blurry, you know, fuzzy edge. And we're going to select the dark color, fill path, and we'll go to 7. And that'll make the darker shade. And there you go. I can see that I messed up and forgot that, so I'm going to go cheat a little bit real quick. I was on the base because of that thing I was fixing. And just draw that in. It's not that big a deal, but I'll just do it while I see it. Why not? 50 and 7. There we go. So we'll do the shirt, and then I'll show you the eyes, and we'll be wrapping this up pretty quick. So we have that. You know, select the color. I accidentally hit the function key, the shortcut key I do, but you normally just hit that play button there, and we'll have some, select these area for the pen. I do this real fast because we've been through this, but I just want to finish it off so you guys can see. A little shade here maybe. Okay, and sometimes I like select it in advance and then go back and reshape it. It doesn't have to be super fancy. We're just doing this super quick. Okay. And we're selecting that. We're selecting the first one, which will be kind of the medium grade, and then we're selecting the actual shade, which I actually bumped there. Okay, and then we're gonna fill path 50, fill path 7. Wonderful. And there we go. That's, I mean, it's not my best work, but it does show you my technique, and that's all that matters. Let's go ahead and go in, and I'm gonna pick up my pen, tablet pen again. I'm gonna color. I'm gonna select this with the eyedropper, move that in, and then let's do the eyes real quick. I'm gonna go to line, select these, play, and now we're back on color. And you can go back to that dodge tool, and if you want, and this probably is too light. Oh wait, I'm on base. There we go. Some people do like the eyes like that. You probably have to start with a darker shade than I did for that to really work. But for the purpose of making this go a little bit faster, I'm going to take my brush, turn the hardness like all the way down, make it a little bigger, and then you can do, I don't know, color however you want. I'm not going to go too crazy with this. Just do it real quick. Take my brush, hit command, or just hit D, make it a little bit harder, and make a pupil, and make a pupil. That's good enough, why not? And then I'm going to deselect, command D, turn my opacity way down to like, I don't know, 20. 20 is good. Turn my hardness all the way down, make this a little bit And then draw on a shadow, just so her eyes are integrated. Okay, and you can see like up the little cheat, not the cheat sheet, but the preview, how that's gonna look. I'm gonna hit D and I'm gonna skip around. I'm gonna turn my opacity back up. We'll add like a highlight real quick. Why not? There and there. Why not? There. Make it about the same size in there. Okay. I mean, you know, you get the idea. As a quickie thing on how I color my eyes. Okay. Well, that's the shading technique then, and that's basically it for my base. I'm gonna have one more quick video where I cover what I do with the lines. Like if you ever see my finished stuff, I usually have colored lines. So I'm gonna have one more quick video of that, and then maybe I'll show you a background, although I didn't leave much room for a background in this one. So join me if you want to see how I color my lines. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.